Hi. Well, this week I wanted to take advantage of the good weather actually, and sit out on my balcony and do this broadcast. This week, might as well. This week I wanted to talk about symbols. Do we need more Reiki symbols? Now, I understand, I appreciate that there are some lineages of Reiki emanating from Japan, and possibly in Japan as well, that don't have symbols, that don't use Reiki symbols. I understand that. I also understand that the symbols were introduced for the benefit of Chujiro Hayashi, because he had trouble sensing the energies, and that's why the symbols have become so dominant in the world of Reiki, because so many Reiki practitioners in the world these days owe their lineage to Chujiro Hayashi. So the Reiki symbols have become a dominant factor in the world of Reiki, and they certainly form a part of my tradition, Reiki Jinkei-do, which also emanates from Chujiro Hayashi. I remember reading back in 1997, I think it was, a book called Essential Reiki by Diane Steen. I have to say, I think it's one of the worst Reiki books ever written, to be honest. But one of the things that struck me about that book was the fact that Diane Steen not only published the Reiki symbols, possibly for the first time anywhere, also there were many extra symbols. I think there was a new version of the power symbol, a modern version of the master symbol. I can't remember exactly now. But it struck me that these symbols, these extra symbols, are fundamentally not necessary. The symbols that we have given to us by Usui, passed down through Hayashi, cover everything that you could possibly want the symbols to do. Having extra symbols, new symbols, is frankly pointless. They don't actually contribute anything further to the system of Reiki. The concept of a modern power symbol, a modern master symbol, this really needs to be examined in the light of just basic common sense, really. Now, as an artist, somebody that studied art many years ago, and any artist will tell you this, one of the fundamental basic rules of visual art is something called form energy, shape energy. It's about the dynamic interplay of one shape against another, the frequency, the vibration that a particular line will set up. I remember as a 16-year-old learning a rule called the golden section, and the golden section states that if you were to draw a line on a piece of paper and then ask other people to break that line in the most pleasing place, create a division of that line that is most pleasing to them, most people, not all, but most, will break it about a third of the way in. Now, this is the reason why when you see landscapes with maybe a road or a footpath or a river, or just a line, a line of houses, anything that has a line that breaks the horizon, you will find over and over and over again that that line, the road, the footpath, the river, breaks the horizon line about a third of the way in, obeying the rules of the golden section. Now, this is because that rule sets up a very specific vibration that most people are comfortable with. It sets up a comfortable feeling in a way that another division of the line wouldn't. So there are frequencies, vibrations, divisions of space that set up particular frequencies, comfortable frequencies, uncomfortable frequencies, and this relates very much to energy. When you set up a particular shape, when you draw a particular line, you create a particular energetic vibration. So the consequence of this for the Reiki symbols is that they are also governed by the concepts, the rules of form and shape energy. The power symbol looks the way it does because it has to look that way. You cannot set up that particular vibration by drawing something else. This is a bit like claiming that you can set up the vibration of circle by drawing a square. It's the most preposterous thing imaginable. I mean, and yet there are people out there practicing Reiki that genuinely seem to believe, contrary to all common sense, that you can actually create the energy of a circle by drawing a square. It's absurd. Of course you can't. The Reiki symbols look the way they do because they have to look that way. They set up very specific frequencies that draw on the universal energy field, and they're sort of accessing devices. You can put it a bit like this. If you think about the flow of electrons, you've got electricity. It's just an undifferentiated flow of electrons. Now, depending on the accessing device, you turn that undifferentiated energy into a particular thing. You plug in a radio, you turn it into sound. You plug in a lamp, you turn it into light. So you're accessing this pure undifferentiated energy source with a very specific tool that will give a very specific outcome. The radio is not going to emit light. The light isn't going to play you your favourite tunes. It doesn't work that way. You have to have a very specific tool. The Reiki symbols are very specific tools to do very specific things. You change the nature of the tool, you alter it in some way, you set up a completely different sort of vibration, and it does something completely different, or it does nothing at all, which is more likely the case. And I think as far as the Reiki symbols are concerned, you see, there's a lot of assumptions around that. Just because people have this title, Reiki Master, what a dreadful word, Master, and it's people's egos attached to it immediately. And there are so many people out there that genuinely believe that because they're a Reiki Master, they are spiritually advanced enough to be able to do what other great spiritual teachers of the past have done, maybe Usui being one of them, and accessing the universal energy field and discovering new symbols for themselves. Now, I'm not going to say these people are wrong, that this isn't happening, but I will say that the type of ability required to do that is extremely advanced. There are very few people that have reached this level of attainment, and just being given the title Reiki Master, actually it doesn't make you a master of anything, and it certainly doesn't mean that you have the ability to access the universal energy field and draw on that sort of information. So I think there is a need for some level of clarity, some level of common sense, some level of just keeping your feet on the ground with the Reiki symbols. What Usui gave us in those Reiki symbols is some astonishing tools. They are so powerful. They do amazing things, and have been instrumental in the healing of people in so many incredible ways. If you work with what Usui gave us, if you work with those symbols, you realise you don't need any others. There is no need for any extra, more powerful, more authentic symbols. You don't need them. What Usui gave us does the job. So I think there's a need to put down the ego, forget this whole concept of inventing, and it is invention, it's not discovery, it's invention of more powerful, more authentic, more original, more dynamic, whatever adjective you want to use. Put them down, work with what Usui gave us. Usui gave us some amazing tools, and they've just done astonishing things in the world, and you really don't need any other symbols. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that for today. It's been nice to sit here, actually on my balcony here in Cairo. It's a really nice day today. I know the weather's not so great back home in the UK, and I'll be back there in my hometown of Rugby towards the end of November. So that's it for me. See you soon.